We are in Parashat Vayishlach, the parasha where my name, my wife's name, and my daughter's name are in the same pasuk on our wedding anniversary, which is going to be Bezrat Hashem in 2 days. I hope I didn't ruin the surprise, but תודה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו. But nevertheless, this is a very, very unique parasha. And the Ramban, not Maimonides, rather Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman, he says this parasha is called the Parashat Hagalut, the parasha of exile. And which doesn't make much sense because that's when Yaakov returns home, not when he's exiled. But one can say this is the international relations parasha. You know, in between countries, there's always diplomatic relations. The countries can't stand each other. But there's diplomatic relations because one needs the other for whatever reason. I need you to get me to him and so forth. This is called in Hebrew, Yachasim Ben Leumim. I think in English it's called international relations or diplomatic relations. But this is the parasha of diplomatic relations in the Torah. And we all, unfortunately, deal once or twice or many times with people that don't like us. And not only that they don't like us, they harm us. They bother us, they go against us in many different types of ways. I don't know how to deal with that person. Now I'm talking now in the name of everybody. We all run into this situation that a certain individual is talking Lashon Hara about me all day long. They're suing me. I don't know, I built a wall and they're taking me to every court possible and driving me completely nuts. And the examples going on and on and on. And I am talking in the name of everybody that each and every one of us faces at least one time in your life, if not all your life, somebody that is bothering you to a point that it's driving you crazy and you don't know how to deal with them. And our sages say, if you have this issue, look in this parasha, you'll get your answer. So let's look into the parasha because we all have people who bother us. Now, why do I need to look in this parasha? And who do I need to learn from? I need to learn from Yaakov. This parasha is about Yaakov Avinu. Bechlal, if you notice that the last few parashot, Yaakov is the highlight. You know, he's the only figure in the Torah that has the most attention on his life. 22 parashot, 22 chapters in the Torah are just on Yaakov. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't get so. I'm not talking about mentioned in the Torah. I'm talking about talking about the person's life. Avraham Avinu, Yitzchak, Sarah, Adam, Noach, Moshe, a little bit. Yaakov, look how much attention Yaakov is getting. So needless to say, being the head of our nation, we are called Bnei Yaakov, Bnei Israel. Then let's see what Yaakov has to advise us in this parasha. Now, what is the theme of this parasha? Of course, is when Yaakov is facing Esav. And he's coming to him with a few motions. I mean, we know that he's about to face Esav. He doesn't know what's going to be. So he's preparing in 3 ways. He's preparing in prayer. He's preparing to come in peace. And he's also preparing for war. He's like, whatever happens, I'm prepared. Now, what is the result? That Yaakov breaks Esav. He softens him. It ends with a hug. It ends with a hug and a kiss. And he's able to turn an enemy to a friend. That's Yaakov Avinu. That is able to take a situation when there's an enemy. The angels are coming back and saying, Esav is approaching you with 400 men. The 400 men are not carrying gold and presents for you. They're coming to war. So he's able to take an enemy and to change him into I can't say a lover, but in Hebrew it sounds much better. Lafoch mi oyev leohev. Same letters, just a different one switch of a letter. In English it doesn't sound so good, enemy to a lover, so we'll say an enemy to a friend. Now comes a great question that all the commentaries are asking. The way that Yaakov chooses to do it Now, you know how Yaakov is choosing to do it? He's bowing down to him. He's calling him my master. I am your servant. Here I brought you a lot of presents. Or in the slang, he's kissing up. You know? Or whatever they said. I don't want to say not appropriate words, but kissing his tuchus. And all the commentators are saying, Yaakov? That's what you're showing? You're showing weakness? You're bowing down? You're showing softness? That's how you manipulating the situation? Why would you choose that way, Dafka Yaakov? You are powerful. Any other way you're going to choose, you're going to destroy Esav. That's the way you're choosing to bow down, my master, I'm your servant, and so forth. And as you know, there's a very famous saying, I'm sure it's in different languages, it sounds in different ways, but in Hebrew it says in a jungle you got to be a wolf. Or a tiger, or whatever it is. I'm sure it sounds different in different languages. But when you are in a fight in front of a enemy, you don't become something else. You have to rise yourself to the same level of who you have to fight with. Now, when Yaakov is approaching Esav, then also when he sends the angel, he calls him my master. He tells the angels that to my master, La'adoni, Le'esav, I'm his servant. Not only that, when they meet, he bows down to everybody bows down to him. I hope you read the Parasha a little bit before you come to the class. But the Yaakov Avinu positions everybody. First comes Leah, and first comes the maidservants and their sons, and they're bowing to him. And then Leah comes with the sons and bowing, and Rachel comes. Everybody's bowing, and he's bowing. Like what? Just imagine the scene there. What are you doing? What are you bowing down to Esav? This is a wicked person that is coming to kill you. He's not coming to negotiate peace. Now, why doesn't Yaakov chooses the approach? Because Yaakov, how does the parasha starts? That he sends angels. Vayishlach Yaakov malachim el Esav. Yaakov is sending angels to Esav to spy, to see what's going on, and to tell Esav Yaakov is approaching and he's coming in peace. The angels come back, and Rashi says these are actual angels. It's not messengers. The angels come back and says, Yaakov, Esav is coming back with 400 men for war. The great question is, Yaakov, Esav is coming with war. Why aren't you attacking with war? He's coming. You want war? You want war? I'll give you war. You think I have a problem giving you war? I know how to fight. Now why is Yaakov choosing that approach? The idea of like, you coming to attack me? Isn't the Torah says, the one who's coming to kill you, wake up early and you kill him first? How come Yaakov is not choosing the option of, oh yeah? You want to fight? I'll give you a fight. I know how to fight. In any place you'll take me, I'll fight you. You want to go to courts? I'll take you to courts. You want to go to the street? You want a fist fight? What do you want? I'll take you down. Right before that encounter, Yaakov has a fight with Esav's angel, and he beats them up with no problem. So how come Yaakov Avinu is, instead of choosing, you want war? I'll come with war. Rather, he chooses, no, I'll bow down to you. Now, there's a very interesting explanation. If you're looking at the theme of the Torah, if you want to see what really the Torah is looking from anyone, the Torah is all about peace. All the brachot, all the blessings that we have is about peace. We pray Shmona Esrei. How do we pray the end? What do we pray at the end? Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha. We pray the most a common and most famous prayer for our nation, Kaddish, Oseh Shalom B'meromav. Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Birkat Kohanim V'yasem Lecha Shalom. You're asking about the Torah, Darkei Darkenom V'kol Nativotei Shalom. All her paths is presence and peace and kindness. The Torah is all about peace. But before we do peace, what does Hashem tell us? Hashem Oz Le'amo Yiten, Hashem Yivarech et Amo B'Shalom. Hashem gives us might and power, then go in peace. So if you want to come in peace, first you have to have a lot of Oz. Oz is might and power and courage. So we are stuck now with this question. Now just a little bit of the history. Yaakov Avinu is coming back to the land of Israel after 34 years being away. 14 years he was by Shem and Evel. 20 years by Lavan. 34 years, the guy is not there. You know how old he is? He's 98 years old already. Because he left when he was 64 years old. He's coming back, multi-millionaire, a gazillionaire, powerful, kids, wives, and he's coming back to the land of Israel. Now, you know what, to his great surprise, he's looking around. Esav is not there. Esav relocated. Esav is living in a completely different place. Esav left already. Now, wouldn't you think that he says, oh, Baruch Hashem, he's not here. I ran away from him 34 years ago. Now he's not here. Baruch Hashem. How we say in Hebrew? Istadalti. Everything worked well. He's not even here. Where is Esav? Esav relocated to a place called Seir Edom. Now, Esav doesn't know that Yaakov is back. There's no internet, there's no Facebook that Yaakov updated his profile. I'm back home. Who knows what's going on here? There's no news, there's no nothing. Esav doesn't know what's going on. The word is not out there. Dear Yaakov, why are you going to wake up the lying dogs? Esav is out of the picture. He lives far away. Why are you going and waking him up? Just settle down in the land of Israel next to your parents and keep your mouth shut. Why are you waking up the dog? There's a midrash that is talking about specifically this action, and it says two things. The first thing it says, if you pass in the street and you see a dog and you'll pull the dog's ear, don't be surprised if the dog bites you. Why are you bothering the dog? Sorry. Another place in the midrash, it says a story about a person that somebody told him, listen, be very careful because in the forest there's a robber. It's a very dangerous robber. Don't deal with him. The guy walks into the forest and he sees a sleeping man. So he wakes up the sleeping man and says, be careful, why are you sleeping in the middle of the forest? There's a deadly robber here, an assassin, a murderer. He says, that's me. I'm the one, I'm the robber. So the midrash says, why are you waking him up? Why do you want to wake up something that is sleeping? The evil, the bad is sleeping and numb and you're going and waking him up. That's what Yaakov did. Esav is not even in the city. Why are you going and calling him? Just sneak back in quietly and that's it. Comes now three big questions. First of all is why Yaakov looking for a friendship with Esav? You know he wants to kill you. Just mind your own business, live where you need to live and leave him alone. So first of all, most important, why is Yaakov looking for Esav's friendship? Now remember these questions very good because the conclusion is going to be dependent on the questions. And the message here is extremely deep and profound. Second question, we know that Yaakov is sending angels to Esav. Now, and the angels are coming back and what are they telling him? He's coming for war. Comes a question in the commentaries, how did Yitzchak know that he's coming for war? It doesn't say that they're coming for, it just says that 400 men are with him. Maybe the 400 men are carrying presents. Maybe, I don't know what, maybe it's a sign of respect and honor. A commentary in the Torah that is called the Siftei Kohen, or some know him as the Shach, on the Torah, it says that Yaakov heard where the city where Esav lives and he knew he's coming for war. Because you know, when somebody's upset at you, in most cases, time passes and the person forgets. You say, okay, a month will pass, half a year will pass, a year will pass, 2 years will pass. The person will forget. How rare it is that you did something to somebody and 20 years later they still remember it. I mean, you have to be a little bit cuckoo to hold revenge and anger for 20 years. But Yaakov heard the city and the land where Esav is, and he understood that Esav is still angry. How? Because it says that Esav lived in a place called Seir in the land of Edom. Now, Seir, it means hairy. That's I can't say an organ, but it's part of the body. And Edom is a color, red. Both are the actions that Yaakov connected, that he did, that made him understood that Esav is looking for war. First of all, Seir means hairy. So when Yaakov went to take Yaakov went into Yitzchak to take the brachot, he wore the coat and he was hairy. It says he was Seir. The second one, Edom, is when Yaakov bought the firstborn, the Bechorah, from Esav. So these are the two things that got Esav upset. That Yaakov, so to say, bought from him the firstborn, and the fact that he stole the blessings from him. So Yaakov understood that the fact that Esav named the place where he lives about these two actions, that Esav is for him a reminder. I'm never going to forget that you took the blessings from me and that you bought my firstborn from me. So right away Yaakov understood he wants war. He's not looking for peace here. Now, Yaakov is sending a message to Esav. What does he say? He sends the angels and he says, Ko tomru le'achi. That's how you should say to my brother. First he says, Ko tomru le'adoni Esav. First you should tell my master Esav. Ko amar avdecha Yaakov. That's what your servant Yaakov has said. So he's sending the angels to tell Esav. Yaakov is saying you are his master, and your servant Yaakov has told us to tell you so and so. What is the message that Yaakov tells the angels to say? Im Lavan garti, vaychar ad ata. I have lived now with Lavan for 20 years. Vaychar ad ata means I was delayed. Delayed to come and say sorry. Esav can come and say, what took you so long to come and say sorry? Right? You are admitting that you took the brachot 20 years. Or to be more exact, 34 years. So Yaakov says, Vaychar ad ata. I was delayed. Okay. What is basically Yaakov saying to Esav? Don't be upset at me. You think I went now to live on the Caribbean island? I went to work hard for Lavan. All the blessing that, so to say, that I took, nothing came out of it. I was a slave to Lavan for 20 years. I had no fame, no power, no control, no nothing. Don't think that I had a good time in Haran. I was conned, I was cheated, I was mistreated. But nevertheless, this all concludes to the second question. Why is Yaakov showing weakness to Esav? My master, I'm your servant. You are greater than me. Why is he showing this not only weakness and softness, that I'm inferior to you? Esav, you are much greater than me. Second great question. And the third question is that the angels come back to Yaakov and they say to Yaakov, Esav wants war. He's coming for war. How come Yaakov says, oh yeah? No problem. You want war? I'll show you war. I'll show you what it is. Why is not doing that? I mean, somebody's coming and telling you, I'm coming to attack you. I'm coming against you. Don't you react the same way? No problem. I also know how to fight. What does it say? It says, this is in our parasha in the beginning, Vayira Yaakov, Yaakov came fear on Yaakov, Vayetzer lo, and he became sad and afraid of that. Wow, Yaakov, you're afraid? Didn't Hashem tell you that I'm going to protect you? Didn't Hashem tell you a different occasion when he appeared to you in Bet-El and before that and before leaving Haran? Hashem told you, whatever you're going to do, I'm going to protect you. I'm with you. As long as you do what I tell you, you have nothing to worry about. I will protect you. You have to be afraid of anybody? So isn't Yaakov should say, well, I shouldn't have no fear. Hashem is with me. I can go to any war now and I'll win because Hashem is on my side. Why is Yaakov now, it says, Vayira Yaakov, and he started getting fear when he saw that Esav is coming with war. So these are the three questions we need to remember, and we're going to get to the end in the conclusion. Why? So again, the questions, why is Yaakov so interested in the friendship of Esav? Why Yaakov is showing inferiority, or being inferior, or softness and weakness in front of Esav? And why is Yaakov not going into war? Saying, no problem, you're declaring war, I'll go and destroy you too. I have good lawyers, I'm a Jew, I have a lot of money, I'll take you to court, I'll bury you. What does Yaakov do? It says that Yaakov sends him, the word it uses in Hebrew is doron. Now the translations say present. But you know the real translation, what it really means doron? Bribery. Yaakov sends him a bribery. Bribe. That's doron. I mean, I looked at a few translations. the Art Scroll and many other chumashim that I have, it says the presents. That's not a present. Present is matana. Doron is a shochad, is a bribery. Here, take a few. Here's an envelope for you. Just be quiet. So, why is Yaakov sending a bribery here? Why is he bribing? Now, to emphasize a little bit the story, there's the idea. There's a story about the great Rabbi Chaim from Brisk, and in the city of Brisk came a new governor to control, a ruler of the city. Hebrew is called a moshel. Moshel is a governor, but you can say like the ruler of the city, the mayor. And he didn't like Jews, of course. And he decided he's closing down the Jewish school. It's not like today that there's many schools. One school, all the Jewish kids went to the same school. He decides he closes the school. Now what did he do? Everybody in the community, they gather into a meeting at the chief rabbi of the city, Rabbi Chaim from Brisk, very great scholar, a great tzaddik. And they say, what are we doing? What are we going to do against this decree right now? So, the great Rabbi Chaim from Brisk, what does he say? Let's bribe him. Thank you. They're saying, are you out of your mind? Bribing a governor? This can cost us our life. This is dangerous. You don't bribe a government official. So Rabbi Chaim from Brisk says, yeah, bribe him. Now, I'll say, let's bribe him. So one day, a Jew walks into the governor's office wearing a coat and a big fairy hat. And the governor is looking at him and says, are you mad? What's going on with you? It's a beautiful sunny day. Why are you wearing a coat and a hat? So this Jew tells the mayor, the governor, my mom came to me in a dream and she told me that today in the afternoon that it's going to be pouring rain in the afternoon. So I'm prepared with a coat and a hat. The governor says, are you mad? Are you out of your mind? It's the middle of the summer. It's not going to be raining. He says, listen, my mom is always right. And if she came to me in my dream, there's going to be rain today. And if you don't believe me, I'll bet you 10,000 rubles that it's going to rain this afternoon. The governor says, ooh, this Jew he's crazy. Yeah, I'll put my money. I'll go on the bet with you. No chance it's going to be rain. Sure enough, comes the afternoon and no rain. The next day, first thing in the morning, the Jew comes with an envelope with 10,000 rubles, puts it on the table of the governor and says, I'm sorry, you won the bet. There wasn't any rain. Here's your money. You won the bet. The governor is like, what? I didn't have to run after you, didn't have to call you, didn't have to send you anybody. But you're just coming like this and give me the money. He says, listen, a bet is a bet. I'm an honest man. I lost. Fair and square. Here's your money. So the governor tells him, why really did you come here? You didn't come here to tell me about the rain. So the Jew says, well, you know what, really? I came to tell you about this new decree that you want to close the Jewish school. Where our kids are going to go to? Where are we going to educate our kids? So the governor says, you know what? If you are so honest, and you came right away and gave me the money from the bet, I didn't have to run after you, means that also you're teaching your kids to be honest? I don't want to close the school. I want the school to sustain. It's okay, the decree is over. What did they do? They still bribed him. They gave the 10,000 rubles. It wasn't coming in a not kosher way, but they bribed him. There was a bribe there. So the conclusion is that you always have to bribe. You have to come with a bribe. Just, it doesn't say how the bribe has to come. Bribe is not always in an illegal way. You know, some people like bribes in envelopes with a lot of money. Sometimes a bribe can be a favor. A bribe can be in many different ways. But the conclusion we can learn from that in situations you have to bribe somebody. Just choose the right way how you bribe the person. Now, what is the idea behind it?
This is a warm meal that I've made.
Thank you.
I have a cola too if you want.
No. Just my throat is a little bit. What's the idea behind it? And before we actually go down to the depth of the idea, we have to also understand if there's a halacha problem here. Because in anything in the Torah, first you have to check the halacha. Yes, you want to do good things in this world, you want to go beyond the letter of the law, but before you do anything in this world, doesn't matter what it is, peace, war, doesn't matter. First consult with an halacha authority. What does the Torah tell you to do here? Anything you want to do. You want to go and sue somebody now? Go and talk first to the rabbi before you sue him. You want to do anything. First has to be a halacha decree here. So let's see first of all what the halacha says here. Because we see that Yaakov bribed Esav. What does the halacha has to say here? Are we allowed to flatter a wicked person? Now I don't know if flattering is the right word. In Hebrew it says litchanef. Litchanef is, the slang to litchanef is to kiss bottoms, to suck up. Sorry that I'm using this word, but I couldn't find any proper word to that. So I think the right word, the proper word is to flatter somebody. Are you allowed to flatter a wicked person? Am I allowed to go now to the head of Hezbollah and start flattering? You are so amazing. Well, I know we have a lot of halacha opinions here in the room, but let's first see what the halacha says. Now, this is a question in halakha. Wait, don't argue. Let's see what the halakha says. Yeah, don't fight yet. Let's go to the books of halakha. Now, this question was actually presented in halakha several times. Am I allowed to flatter a wicked person? Now, what is really flattering? Saying something that you don't really believe in because you have some type of a motive here. I can go now to the mayor and tell him, you are amazing. I heard you are so amazing. And, blah, 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 blah. And I just need a license to build here a veranda. So I'm allowed to say something that I don't believe in because I have a motive here?
But then you're going into line.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait. So let's see what the halakha tells me to do here. Now, before the halakha, we have the Gemara. All the halakha that we know, what's called halakha l'maseh, we always go back to the Gemara, to the Talmud. This is our source of oral Torah. Now, let's go to a Gemara from Tractate Sota, page 41, and it talks about a certain king. This king is known as Agrifas. And Agrifas was one of the last kings that ruled in Yerushalayim. Now, his mother was a Jew, but his father was a Roman slave. He somehow took over the government through the Romans, and he took control over Yerushalayim. And yeah, he was not such a great king. Okay. He was, by the way, the grandson of the king Hordus. This is mamash at the end of the empire of Yerushalayim, before everything got destroyed. Nevertheless, was the year that is called the year of Hakel. In the year of Hakel, everybody is gathered together, and the king reads out from the Torah, the entire Torah. Okay, he reads out of the Torah. Then he gets to the point in Parashat Shoftim where it says, Som tasim alecha melech, you should appoint a king on you, mikerev achicha. But he has to be from your brothers. So he started crying. He's not from the brothers. His mother was a Jew, but his father was a Roman. He starts crying because I'm not the brother. You know what everybody starts saying? It's okay, dear king, we love you, you're great, we still support you. It's okay, you're not our brother, you're like our brother. And they're all, they kissing duches. And everybody's flattering him. Right at that point came a decree from Hashem. Hashem did not like that. And it says on that day that many soldiers died that day. Because in that period was already started a lot of wars around Yerushalayim. And it says in these days, Rabim naflu. Rabim naflu b'kravot. Many fell in the battles. It says Hashem didn't like that because he says that's a wicked person. And he strict the kingship. He didn't take it legally. He took over. And you're not allowed to flatter him because he's powerful. And Hashem didn't take it in a nice way. And therefore, many soldiers died that day. That's one Gemara. There's another opinion in the Gemara that you're allowed to flatter somebody, and the Gemara is pulling the story with Yaakov and Esav. So now I have a disagreement. One opinion in the Talmud says that I'm not allowed to flatter somebody wicked because he's strong and I'm afraid, or that I have an motive. And the other opinion in the Talmud says you're allowed to. Look at Yaakov, he did this to Esav. So the Gemara, in order to come to a conclusion, says, when am I allowed to flatter somebody? When am I allowed to flatter? I have a halacha question now, right? You say no, you say yes, you say no, you say yes, right? Yes, no, doesn't matter. Let's see what the Talmud says. Let's see what the halacha says. We're nobody. We have to just listen to. We're talking about a wicked person. The Gemara says, when you're allowed to flatter, it really depends. It depends if you are praising his sins, or you're just giving him respect because you have a motive. It's two different things. One side, you can praise the person's actions. Oh, you were amazing how you killed so many Jews. That's one way. I'm praising his sins. Or that I'm just praising him. You're brave, you're great, you're smart, because I have some type of motive here. This question was presented to a great scholar in our generation, Rabbi Moshe Feinstein. And he says as follows: to praise the sins of somebody, you're not allowed to. But what happens if somebody walks into the shul right now? That person we know is not a kosher person. And he gives an example, it's not my words, it's the example that Rabbi Moshe Feinstein gives. A person walks into the shul. He's not a great person, he's not a good person, but he's very powerful. And we know that he does a lot of sins. And the example that he gives, the person is not married to a Jewish woman, his kids are not Jewish, he's not practicing anything in Judaism, he mocks Hashem whenever he can, but nevertheless he walked into the shul. But we need this guy. He's a powerful politician right now. We need him. Are you allowed to flatter him?
No. Yes.
Then the answer is you're allowed to.
You're allowed.
And how many times in history, whether it was in Russia, Europe, other places, that we needed the power. Listen, we can't argue with the halakha. I'm just giving over the halakha. If I'm praising his sins, I'm not allowed to. But if I come to him and saying, wow, you're so charitable, you're so powerful, and because I need something in order to, I'm not talking about to move my own interest because I want to build a veranda. I need to save now a community. I need to save a congregation. I need now to save a decree. Sometimes we need politicians to pass laws that it's good for my entire community. Nevertheless, it says here, be smart, don't be right. I know he's a wicked person right now, but he can move things around. It's going to be the benefit of many people. You know how many times we had to use this type of method so a politician will affect something and will save many people. You know that in 1942, I think about 400 rabbis went to Roosevelt and say, intervene in the war. Go and intervene in the war. And yes, they used the same method. They sucked up. They kissed tuches. I think 200 or 400 rabbis. It's a very famous story. I think it was either in 42 or 43. They went to Roosevelt and says, listen, please intervene in the war. Please do something. So this is for a good cause. I'm not talking now that I'm now flattering somebody that he could give me a license to build a veranda. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that now there's a severe situation and I need to save lives or to do something big, then you're allowed to flatter the person, but you're not allowed to flatter their actions. And again, let's not stop about the halacha argument here, because there's no point of stopping here. I just want to make sure that Yaakov didn't do anything against halacha. Now, extremely, extremely important that the Talmud says there are 4 groups that will never see the Shekhinah. The Shekhinah is the feminine aspect of the divine. This is the biggest prize anybody can wish for, is to be able to see the Shekhinah. Very soon Mashiach is going to come. Some people will see the Shekhinah, some people will not see the Shekhinah. This is the biggest punishment to get, that you're not going to see the Shekhinah. Excuse me. The Talmud says there are 4 groups that will never accept the Shekhinah, will never see the Shekhinah. The first one is called leitzim, clowns, the ones who mock things, clowns. Not clowns in the circus with a red nose. that they mock things, that they mock the mockery, they do mockery to people, to other things, to the Torah and Hashem. The second one is chanfanim. Chanfanim is flatterers. Ask tuchus kissers. The third one is liars. And the fourth one is mesaprei lashon hara, the ones who say lashon hara. These are the four people that will never merit to see the Shekhinah. Just remember it very good, because you don't want to be one of them. Leitzim, mockeries, they're mocking Hashem in any type of a way, mocking Hashem or the Torah. Chanfanim, flatterers, that's what they do. I know now a person that is going and really flattering the new mayor here in Tzfat because she's in real estate. And you need the mayor when you're in real estate. You can move deals left and right. Who do you need on your side when you're in real estate? You need the mayor. The mayor is going to be the one who's going to approve which project is about to be built, where you can use the land for construction. So I know a certain individual that now the agenda is literally a lot of tuchus kissing to the new mayor, because the mayor is going to be very beneficial to her own agenda. This is called chanfanim. The third one is shakranim, liars, and mesaprei lashon hara. The fourth one, the ones who tell lashon hara, gossip, slandering, and so forth. You don't want to be one of these four groups, because you'll never see the Shekhinah. Why? No. So Reb Moshe Feinstein says, you're not allowed to justify or to praise the sins, but if I need the person to move something big, not for my own benefit, you're allowed to praise the person. This is the halacha. Not for my own benefit. I'm talking now like I have to save a situation. There's now a situation, and a certain individual has power, and I'm allowed to flatter that person. So the conclusion is that according to halacha, Yaakov didn't do any problem. Yaakov is a man of Torah. He didn't break the halacha here. So at least by flattering Esav, I'm talking about, at least he's covered by halacha. So if this is the case, again, why? Why do you have to flatter Esav? Why do you have to bow down to him? What is the reason? Why you do that, Yaakov? What are you teaching me? If the Torah is telling me the story, the Torah is teaching me something. What are you teaching me if this is the case, Yaakov? So, a very quick story. There's a famous tzaddik. He's known as the Holy Jew from Pshischa, the Yehudi Kadosh Mipshischa. And he's like the father of the dynasty of the Chassiduyot of Gur and Kotsk. Very holy individual. And one time he was sitting and teaching his yeshiva Gemara, the Talmud, and he got to a question and he couldn't find the answer, and he started looking in books and becoming very distracted by can't finding the answer. In the crowd, one of the students was an orphan that he promised his mother that morning that he will help her. Very poor, they were very poor. So he sees the rabbi is now looking in the sources to find the answer. He says, this is a good opportunity for me to go and help my mom. He runs to the home, very, very poor. The mom wanted him to move something for the attic. The story says that day they got matzah for Pesach, and the mom told him, put him in the attic. And he says, I'm going to yeshiva now, I'll do it later. So he comes home, and he's so distracted because he was so hungry, he was looking to something to eat, and then he had to run back to yeshiva. As he's running back to yeshiva, he's like, oh my God, the whole point I went home is to do what my mother's asked me and to do kibud avim. He runs back home and he tells his mom, what did you want me to do? Put the boxes in the attic. He puts the boxes in the attic and he does the mitzvah of kibud avim. As he walks into the yeshiva, the holy Jew from Pshischa, look at him, oh, thank you so much, I got my answer. End of the class, he calls the boy and tells him, where were you? The boy's like, oh no, now I'm going to get in trouble. I ran away from the class. He's like, listen, I was hungry. He's like, where were you? He's like, no, I don't want to get in trouble. He's like, you're not getting in trouble. I just want to know where you were. He's like, well, I ran home. He says, what did you do when you were at home? He's like, well, I helped my mom. He says, now I understand. The question that he had that he couldn't understand was a very hard question that was answered by a Morah called Abaye. Now, Abaye was an orphan. He was raised by his uncle, the great Rabbi Bar Nachmani, a great Amora. But he was an orphan, and he called him Abaye. It's not his name. Abaye is the acronym, is Asher Becha Yerucham Yetom. That in you should have mercy about an orphan. That's the name Abaye. It's not actually his name. Nevertheless, he was an orphan from both sides. When he went up to Shamayim, he was a complete tzaddik. He was able to do 612 mitzvot. He missed one mitzvah, Kibud Avim. He was never able to do Kibud Avim. He was always an orphan. So he made a promise that any person that wants to do Kibud Avim, he will come down and assist him. So when this boy went out of his way to do Kibud Avim, then Abaye came to help him. When the boy walked into the yeshiva, then Abaye walked in with him, and the holy Jew from Pshischa saw Abaye in his great Ruach HaKodesh, in his divine knowledge, and he says, now I got my answer. So the point to take from the story, and when we ask him why did Yaakov do it, is to understand that Yaakov wasn't afraid of Esav. But then again, the Torah says, Vayira Yaakov, and Yaakov was covered with fear. What was Yaakov afraid of that he decided to bow down to Esav? Yaakov was afraid of the merits of Esav. And he says he has more merits than me. Yeah, fight face to face, I'll bring him down. But I'm afraid, because he has more merits than me. What was the merits? If you remember 2 weeks ago, I explained how Esav did unbelievable Kibud Avim. His level of Kibud Avim was out of proportion. That I quoted Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel from the Talmud, who says, all my life I have served my parents, and it's not even 1 out of 100 what Esav did. Yaakov was afraid of the merit that Esav had Kibud Avim. Where does he learn that from? This is unbelievable. This is a commentary from a great rabbi. He's known as the Maharal from Tzins. He's known as Rabbi Yehuda Leib from Tzins. Great scholar, lived about 200 plus years ago. And he has dozens of books, commentary on the Torah. 2 of them are very famous. It's called Kometz Mincha. Kometz is like when you close your hands, and Mincha is an offering. And another one is called Mlo HaOmer, the entire serving of the Omer, another type of sacrifice. But nevertheless, he says there an unbelievable wisdom. In the Pasuk, when it says that Yaakov got attacked with fear, it says 2 words, Vayira, and he became afraid, Vayitzer, and he became small. What is Vayira and Vayitzer? The Maharal from Tzin says as so follows. These 2 words are corresponding to 2 psukim that correspond to 2 mitzvot. The first one, it says, when it's talking about the Kibud Avim in the Torah, what's the pasuk? It says, Ish ve'im ish aviv imo ve'aviv tirao. A person, a father and a mother, you have to fear. This is going on the mitzvah of Kibud Avim. So the word vayira goes about the fear that you have to do Kibud Avim. That's the mitzvah that Esav did. Vayetzer, Yaakov had a problem. He was married to 2 sisters. And what does it say about 2 sisters in the Torah? It says, Ve'isha lachota lo tikachu, and a woman and her sister don't take, litzror, to make argument between both of them. Yaakov had 2 women. So Yaakov was missing a mitzvah. Yaakov didn't do Kibud Avim. He wasn't next to Yaakov and Yitzchak and Rivka. Besides that, Yaakov liked Yitzchak like Esav. Yaakov was constantly with his mother, not with his father. So Yaakov was missing the mitzvah of Kibud Avim. The commentary says that later on, when Yosef was kidnapped, was because he didn't do Kibud Avim. And he was married to 2 sisters. So Yaakov was like, wait a minute, Esav has 2 points over me. I'm not afraid of him, but he has 2 points of merits that are greater than me. I might lose. Now, even though that, Yaakov didn't have a problem marrying 2 sisters. If you remember last year, we gave a whole class about it. But if you remember, last year I taught in Parashat Kedoshim that the Ramban explains that before Yaakov Avinu went into Eretz Israel, Rachel died. If you remember the explanation I gave last year by the Ramban, When he was living in Haran, there was no problem to be married to two women. When he got back to Canaan, Eretz HaKodesh, he couldn't be married to two women, and Rachel died.
But it wasn't two women, it was two sisters.
Two sisters, sorry.
That was the problem, because it was two sisters, not necessarily.
Two sisters, yeah, sorry. Thank you for correcting me. It was two sisters, not two women. So, Yaakov, thank you so much. Yaakov was afraid of Esav because he had the mitzvah of Kibud Avim that he didn't have, and he was married to two sisters. And he was like, Esav has 2 points over me. So Yaakov was afraid. That's why he was like, Vayira Vayitzer. Now, comes again another question. Yaakov was afraid? Come on, Yaakov. Didn't you fight last night with Esav's angel, with the angel of death, with the Samech Mem? You afraid? Yaakov was afraid of the merit of Esav. Now, where do we find again another individual that didn't afraid of anything, but still had fear from one person? Very, very similar. Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu was not afraid of anything. Moshe Rabbeinu went into the palace of Paro with no fear. Moshe Rabbeinu waged wars on everybody. Moshe Rabbeinu with his own hands he fought. Moshe was fearless. There was only one person that Moshe Rabbeinu was afraid of. And it says in the Torah in Parashat Chukat about Og Melech HaBashan. And it says when Moshe had to go to war with Og Melech HaBashan, what does it say? Vayomer Hashem al tira oto. Don't be afraid of him. So we learn from that Moshe was afraid of Og Melech HaBashan. Now Moshe Rabbeinu, you afraid of Og Melech HaBashan? A Rasha Gamur? You are Moshe Rabbeinu. What are you afraid of him? Moshe Rabbeinu says, you know why I'm afraid of him? Because he did a favor to Avraham Avinu and Avraham thanked him. Now this is going to stand against me. You know what it means to get a thank you from Avraham Avinu? What's the story? We read that 3 weeks ago. When Avraham Avinu, when Lot was captured, somebody came to tell Avraham Avinu. Avraham Avinu didn't know. Somebody came to Avraham Avinu and told him, your nephew got captured. And who was that person? It was Og Melech HaBashan. Now, even though the intention of Og Melech HaBashan was wicked, the Og Melech HaBashan came to tell that to Avraham Avinu. So Avraham Avinu will run after to save Lot, get killed, and Og can go and marry Sarah. That was his intention. But nevertheless, he helped Avraham Avinu. Avraham Avinu thanked him. That's it. You're getting a thanks from Avraham Avinu. This marriage will stand for you for a long time. Og Melech HaBashan lived for a very long time. Moshe Rabbeinu was afraid of that. Because if I'm going into a war with somebody and they have some type of a merit, that can be used against me. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to be victorious. So we see that also Moshe Rabbeinu was afraid of the merit of Og, not of Og. Same thing here. Yaakov was afraid of the merit of Esav. Now we concluded. I understand why he called him my master, I'm your servant, bow down. We concluded that. But comes back another question. So why did you wake him up? Why did you call Esav? Who told you to call Esav? Just go back, settle where you want to. Why are you telling Esav I'm coming back? Why are you calling him? The fact that he called him, the fact that he woke up Esav, this is where the secret lies. This is where the whole story, what we need to take from that. Now I'm going to tell you very quickly a short story. You probably have known it, but I came across the story not too long ago, and this will kind of shed light of what we have to say here. There is a rabbi in the country of Hungary. His name is Rav Shlomo Kovesh. And he's right now, I don't remember if he's the chief rabbi of Hungary. I think he's maybe the rabbi of the army of Hungary. I don't remember exactly, but nevertheless, he's a big rabbi there. One day, not too long ago, he gets, it's a famous story. He gets an SMS message, and he's about to faint by seeing who sent him the message. He's getting a message from the devil. He's changing colors as he's looking at the number. Who sends him a message? An individual that I probably will mess up his name. I think his name is Chugadi. Chugadi was the number 2 person in the Nazi party of that country called Yudik. This was the most ruthless Nazi political party. The second in the hierarchy there is this Yudik, is this Tsugadi, and he texts him, I want to meet you. Now this is pretty scary. I mean, this Nazi is texting me, I want to meet you? Why do you want to meet me? You're not going to have a cup of coffee with me right now? He doesn't know what to do. He says, you know what? I'm going to meet him. And he meets him. Comes this Sugadi, a Nazi. And now you have to understand, look him up, unless in case you don't know the story. He was so ruthless that he had like a chain of stores selling everything that has swastikas on it. Shirts, cups, everything. He was like the most ruthless, powerful Nazi, proactive individual against Jews in Europe. And he calls him. Go and look him up, Sugadi. Sugadi from the party of Yudik in Hungary. He's very, very famous. Now, why is he famous? Because he comes to this rabbi and he tells him, the members of the party where I am in, the Yudik, you know what they just found out? That I'm Jewish.
No way.
I'm Jewish, my mother's Jewish, my grandmother's Jewish, I'm a Jew. And I'm a Nazi. And the party members found that out and they're kicking me out of the party. I don't know what to do. The rabbi's like, didn't a week ago you wanted to kill me? And now you, what do you want me to do? Okay. Now he's kicked out of the party. And you know what? He comes to the rabbi and tells him, listen, I'm already kicked out of the Nazi party. And if I'm a Jew, then might as well, if I'm already making the change, I'm making it all the way. I'm a Jew. I want to do tshuva. I mean, your whole life, you were Nazi. Your whole life, your agenda was to go against Jews. Now you want to do tshuva because you found out you're a Jew? He says, yeah. Now the rabbi has a big conflict because the whole community, how is he going to bring him into the shul? By saying, okay, he's a Jew, let's accept him. What do you think? He just came with a smile, we'll just say, we'll forgive you for all the problems you caused us in the last 50 years. Who's going to let me put you in the shul? I mean, how is that going to look? He just comes and says, hi, I'm sorry, I found out I'm a Jew. I don't hate you anymore. I don't want to kill you anymore. But you know what you did to us for the last 50 years? Why would we accept you? The rabbi was a young rabbi, he didn't know what to do. He calls the chief rabbi, Rabbi Overlander. And he tells him, I don't know what to do. So the Rabbi Overlander, who I know very well, his brother, his son used to come here for our Friday meals. His brother is a rabbi in London. But nevertheless, he tells him, you know what to do? I have just remembered a story. And the story was told by the Magid from Mazrij. There's a story that one time the Magid from Mazrij told his student, the Norm Elimelech from Lizhansk, and he told him, you know what I just heard in Shamayim? Well, okay, what did you hear in the heavens? That you have to love the wicked, the Rasha Gamur, the complete Rasha, exactly like how you love the Tzaddik Gamur. You have to love the Rasha, the complete wicked individual, like you like the Tzaddik. So who's the Rasha Gamur here? Who's this complete wicked person? Well, in this case, it's Sugadi. He's the Rasha Gamur. I have to like him just as much. And the answer is yes, you have to love him like the tzaddik, because he's your brother. You have to still love him. So you take this story, and now we add another two commentaries brought by two separate individuals. One of them is the Ben Ish Chai, and one of them is Levi Yitzchak. Levi Yitzchak was the father of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. Was a great Mekubal. If you read his scripts, unbelievable commentary on the Zohar, and great genius. And they both give the same commentary. One lives in Uzbekistan, one lives in Iraq. Same commentary exactly. And Levi Yitzchak, he was known to be a great Mekubal, so everything that he talks is all in Kabbalah. So he says, what's the numerical value of Yitzchak? 208. Right? The Gematria of Yitzchak. What do you find in 208? You find 8 times the number 26. 26 times 8 is 208. What's 26? Yud Kei Vav Kei. Hashem's name. What do you find? This is in the name of Yitzchak. What do you find in the name of his son Yaakov? Yaakov is 182. 182 is 7 times 26. 7 times Yud Kei Vav Kei. So Yaakov has 7 times the name Yud Kei Vav Kei in him. Yitzchak, his father, has 8 times the name Yud Kei Vav Kei. So where's one Yud Kei Vav Kei?
Esav?
Are you following? Hold on. Yaakov is 20, it has 7 and Yitzchak has 8. Where's one missing? Where's that one Yud Kei Vav Kei? Esav, Gematria, is 376. 376 brings a very interesting Gematria. 7 times the word Tameh, impure, which is the value, numerical value of 50, and 1 time 26. 7 times Tameh, impure, and 1 time 26. Telling you that where's that 26 that was missing with Yaakov? Esav has it. Esav is Yaakov's brother. Yeah, he's a complete wicked person, but he's Yaakov's brother. He's still a brother. He's still the son of Yitzchak. Now, Yaakov Avinu figured out something genius. Again, Esav might be a complete wicked person and did everything against Yaakov. But Yaakov is like, but he's still my brother. More than that, he's still my father's son. Now, what is this 7 that Yaakov has? We have 7 times Yud Kei Vav Kei 26 by Yaakov and 7 times by Esav, Tameh, impure. What is this 7? This is the 7 levels of impurity. There's 7 levels of impurity, 7 levels of Kedusha, of holiness. 7 levels in Gehenom, 7 levels in Gan Eden. Esav was sunk in all 7 levels of impurity, all the filth. But Yaakov was able to reveal what's called Gilui Shem Havaya, revealing the name of Yud Kei Vav Kei in Esav from this impurity. And Yaakov understood it's not about him. Yaakov understood his job is to fix and rectify Esav. Yaakov would go to war with Esav, he would crush him in a second. No doubt here. Yaakov knew that.
Also Esav.
Yaakov knew that if he will go into any type of a war with him, Yaakov will destroy Esav. But he says, my job is not to destroy. My job is to build Esav, is to rectify Esav. You know why? Mashiach cannot come till Esav is rectified. The verse in the Torah that we learn about the coming of Mashiach, Va'alu Moshihim behar Tzion, lishpot et har Esav. When are we climbing the mount of Tzion, Moshihim, the Yeshua, the Geulah, the redemption? Lishpot et har Esav. You have to bring Esav. We can't have the redemption without Esav. He's the child of Yitzchak. He's a Jew. He's the son of Rivka. We need Esav for the Geulah. And Yaakov says, it's not about me. It's about rectifying Esav. I have to bring Esav and rectify him, taking out of all 7 levels of Tumah to reveal Shem Havaya in Esav. Mashiach cannot come and will not come till we will rectify, or what we call levarer, to refine Esav. And there's a lot of Esav around us. Yaakov bowed to Esav, you know how many times? 7 times. That's what he says. It bowed to him 7 times he bowed. Every bow was to elevate 1 level of impurity. The whole parasha, if you read the parasha, it says about Esav 2 titles. My brother and Esav. Achi, Esav. Hatzileni na miyad Achi, miyad Esav. Right? Save me now from the hand of my brother, from my hand of Esav. The whole parasha, it's talking about brother, Esav, brother, Esav, brother, Esav. Look at the parasha. At the end of the parasha, my brother. Esav disappeared. To follow the words in the parasha, beautifully said. Every time there's the definition of Esav, it says, Achi, Esav. My brother, but Esav. He's Esav, but he's my brother. And finally, at the end, Esav disappeared and it only says, my brother. And you know when that came? After the hug. You know, they hugged each other. And they started crying. After the hug, there was no more Esav. Esav left. The Ben Ish Chai says something very interesting here. He says, why does Yaakov say, my master and I'm your servant? You are my master, I'm the servant. This is again more brought down from the world of Kabbalah. the teachings of Kabbalah explain that before the world was created, there was another world. This is called the world of Tohu, world of a mess. In this world, the spiritual world, there was very powerful lights, what's called Orot Elyonim. These powerful lights are powerful energies, very powerful energies that the vessels cannot contain this energy, and happened action what's called Shvirat HaKelim. All the vessels broke. This energy that could not be contained in that world fell down into this world and got dressed in items and different articles, and also dressed into people. Some people, their energy is so powerful, but completely out of control. Completely out of control. And it comes out as something extremely evil. But the energy is so powerful. If you direct the energy to something good, wow, what's going to happen? What's going to happen if you take that energy and you direct it to something positive? This energy came down to the world, and you see it with your own eyes, that some people, their energy is so powerful, they damage what they do. But it's not because they're bad, because the energy is not contained and it's not directed. This is called orot bekelim. You have to take this energy, put it in a vessel. And when there's no kelim, when there's no vessel, the light is going crazy, the energy is going crazy. Take now the energy that a nuclear bomb can create, and what a destruction. But take that energy and don't direct it to a bomb. You know how much power you can create with nuclear power? So the Ben Ish Chai explains that Esav came from the world of Tohu. This is above. So in potential, Esav was greater than Yaakov. So Yaakov says, you are above me. I come from the world of Tikkun. Yaakov is the world of Tikkun. This is the world of Tikkun, the world of rectification. But Esav came from the world of Tohu. He preceded him. So Yaakov says, you are my man. You are above me. I'm beneath you. I'm in the world of Tikkun. So to conclude, we have to understand that Mashiach is not going to come till Esav is going to be mevarer, till he would be rectified and refined. And the Midrash says that after they made up, they hugged and they kissed. The Torah doesn't say that. In the Torah it says that they split and they went on their ways. The Midrash says that for 9 years Yaakov was still sending presents to Esav. 9 years. Till the kidnapping of Yosef, the disappearing of Yosef. Yosef was a little kid at the time. But Yosef he was 8. 8? Yeah. He was taken when he was 17, so he was 8. In this whole scene. If you remember, Rachel was the last one who bowed with Yosef. The Midrash says that Yaakov sent presents to Esav for 9 years. He didn't stop the flattering. So the conclusion we want to take from that is that when we're asking these big questions before, remember the questions I asked? Why did Yaakov want friendship of Esav? Why did Yaakov behaved in a soft way, and why didn't he go to war? And the answer is the same. It concludes in one thing, and this is what we have to learn in our life. To go to war is very easy. Very, very easy to go to war. To pull up your sleeves, that's anybody can do, especially if you know how to fight. But what good would it do? So you'll destroy the other person? What comes out of it? Now you can be in a very low level and say, I'll destroy you. Okay. Or you can be in a much higher level and say, there has to be a refinement here. There has to be a birur here. Yaakov says, it's not about me. Who cares? I'm here to bring the Geulah. I'm here to bring peace to the world. Now, if the other person is not interested in peace, then 2 wrongs make a right? No. So take that wrong and you switch it. And you be the older, you be the mature one, you be the powerful one. You remove your ego and your kavod, and you're saying, I'm doing it for the Kadosh Baruch Hu. I don't care about myself. To go head to head, is that going to bring a solution? No. So specifically it's done with Esav, because when somebody is normal and nice and courteous and loving, you're not going to have a confrontation with that person. You know who you have a confrontation with? With a wicked person. Because if he wasn't wicked, he wouldn't say lashon hara. He wouldn't slander you. He wouldn't go against you. But when somebody goes against you, that person is wicked. But he's still your brother. So you can go head to head, butt heads, and go to war. And yeah, you might be winning. But don't forget that a wicked person might have a mitzvah too, more than you. And besides that, even if he has a mitzvah more than you, what does Hashem want from you? Hashem wants you to go to war? War didn't solve any problems. Hashem wants you to refine Esav. And you know who wins here? Who's the bigger person? The one who says, it's not about winning, it's about the reaction, the conclusion. So the next time that somebody goes against you, and usually the one who goes against you, they're not on the highest madriga. A person from a high level will not talk Lashon Hara about you. He will settle it quietly. A person on a high level will not go and slander you around the town. A person around with a high level is not going to cause wars. He's going to come quietly and say, listen, we have a disagreement. Let's fix it. That's a high level. A person in a low level, oh yeah? You did this to me? I'm going to show you. That's Esav. So you want to crush Esav or you want to refine Esav? That's the question you want to ask yourself. And this is the solution. This is the conclusion. And this is the message that our commentaries all say. You have a problem with a person? Go learn this parasha. It's very easy to start a war. Much, much harder to make peace.